basically you see the sort of engineer writhing around on the floor, and then
the one that got gripped by the facehugger when she was trying to escape.
And the first ever alien, like before it's evolved into the xenomorph that it's
bursts out of his stomach, doesn't it? But am I right in saying that it's not the xenomorph from Alien as we know it? It's kind of like a protoform one.
It is.
Because it did look kind of... It had the same kind of sleek, long, black head, but it had a different mouth. It had like a kind of... I almost want to say human mouth.
Yeah, that is not the alien from...
No.
The Alien films. That is like... I suppose it comes back to evolution, because it could evolve into that alien.
But then this goes back to my question. I swear to God, I saw a fully formed carved xenomorph on the door in the big chamber with all the urns.
I know, I don't read it.
If this basically at the end tells the audience that this is the first ever kind of alien that has been formed, not the one we know from the films, but will eventually evolve into that, but the one that was carved on the door was the one that we all know from Alien.
I know, I really don't understand that. Like,
but would you have felt cheated if you'd have gone to have seen this film and you hadn't have seen a Xenomorph? Being an Alien prequel and or spin-off?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have felt cheated.
I wouldn't have either.
Because it's a different... I know it's a prequel, but it's a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
It's his own film altogether. But I think that end scene contradicts what you see on the mural in the big room. If they had removed that mural, that scene at the end would have worked. But because you see the mural inside the headroom...
Maybe I thought it was a Xenomorph. But I swear to God it was.
It was. It really did. I swear it was as well, but it looked like it was.
I thought that was going to be the only nod to like Alien. I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. So maybe they see these as a kind of gods, or maybe those exist on this planet, but we won't see them because they're another part of the planet. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Or maybe it's like a kind of chamber, and if that door opens, they're all behind it or something, and they've been sealed away by these engineers.
Yeah.
But no, they just seem to have like been created at the end.
I really don't understand that.
But that's another problem I have with this film. I think it tried to do too much in terms of its creation. I didn't buy how all of the things were created. Like, one of those oil mixing with one of these engineers creates humans. Fair enough, I'll buy that. But then you had like oil on its own creates worms.
Yeah.
And then you have worms mixing... No, it wasn't that. It's then the oil mixing with a dead guy creates a zombie. And then it was like, oh, we need to get squids into this film. So if one of these mutated guys sleeps with a human woman, it creates a squid, even though a squid's anatomy looks nothing like human, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, we need to get a facehugger in here because people remember that from Alien, right? And then at the end as well, where a facehugger merges with an engineer, it creates a proto-xenomorph, and the xenomorph looks nothing like, you know, an engineer or a facehugger. So how does it create... That's what I had a problem with. It tried to do too much.
Yeah, it's like the black goo can't do that many things. It's like the thing in, you know, the new Star Trek film, or it's like that red sort of antimatter thing that creates a black hole and sends people back in time. It cannot do both. It can do one or the other. Pick.
And I kind of felt a bit annoyed that now, because this is, I take it, is canon to the Alien franchise as well. I kind of felt annoyed that now we know that Xenomorph isn't actually a proper alien, in that it had a proto-form one which looked nothing like it.
Yeah.
It's like, I suppose they kind of did this in Predator though with Predators, but it'd be like if they did another Predator film, and there was like a proto form of Predator. Like I like it being a singular alien, you know.
Yeah.
So how many years is Alien set after this film?
Oh, it's got to be a good, like, 100, 200 years, something like I don't know.
Apparently, according to Wiki, this is set in 2089, Prometheus.
Yeah.
2089, and Alien is set... Does it say? I don't think it says. It doesn't say. It probably does in the film, but... so it's probably a few hundred years after.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the... I'm just taking a quick look at the Alien Wikipedia for it. It's...
oh, sorry, go on.
It's set in... doesn't say.
But this begs the question, though, like, in Alien, they find one of these kind of engineer people in a chair, don't they?
Yeah.
And they say it's fossilised.
Yeah.
So maybe they thought that, like, the thing in the helmet was actually a creature, because it does look like a creature.
Yeah, it does.
And because it's hard, they probably thought, oh, it's a fossil. But now we know it's a suit, so the question is, who was behind the suit? Could it be Noomi Rapace?
I don't know.
Is it her, or is it merely just another engineer? We don't know. And this is the kind of thing, like, people say it's a prequel, but it really answers little to nothing about the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
And I haven't even seen the films, but I'm aware of some of the things that happen in Alien. But to me, it doesn't seem like it answers anything.
Yeah. That's
part one of a bigger story, as I said at the start. It doesn't give us any answers. It doesn't give us any insight into, like, especially David's motivation as to why he, you know, what his grand scheme of things is.
Yeah.
Why Noomi Rapace still wants to carry on this quest after her husband or boyfriend was murdered, her entire team of people were slaughtered in front of her. She had an alien rip out of her stomach, and she's cool to go to a mostly, probably hostile planet with all of these engineers on her own with David, who's ahead.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
I don't know. I really don't know, but it's. See, I now that I've been thinking about it more, I understand the problems, and I know the problems of it, and it's. I still like it, even though I have been literally, like, saying it's got this wrong with it. This is wrong. That is wrong. But I still think I still like it.
I just think that with films, even if you're making a franchise, you have to make them self-contained. Like, take the Lord of the Rings. You know that they're going to make all three, so it's okay to leave them open-ended like the first one does and the second one.
Yeah.
But when you're doing, like, take the first Terminator film, the ending of that, you could just watch that as a film on its own. When she says a storm is coming, well, when he says a storm is coming, she goes, "I know," and drives off into the distance. That could be, like, stand as a film on its own, and you know how it's going to carry on into the future. Terminator 2, though, is a sequel, but you can watch either film on its own and it's self-contained. Whereas this one just kind of sets it up like, oh, we promised there'll be a sequel where we'll answer a few of your questions.
Yeah.
It's like... And the Batman films, Batman Begins, Dark Knight, they're sequels, but they can stand on their own.
Yeah, they can.
It's like, I wish this film would have been a bit more like that.
Yeah. Just would have liked to got a little more answers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with, like, I know it's got, I think one of the writers was Damon Lindelof, who did Lost.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm okay with some answers being held back. but it's just where all of them are held back just to get you to go and see the sequel when it comes out.
Yeah.
And that was just a bit of a shame, I thought.
Mm.
Again, nice visuals.
Yeah,
good ideas.
Has some awesome visuals.
Yeah. Good cinematography. I'd say good direction. I just think it was lacking in the script and the dialogue, and it resorted to many of the tropes and cliches of many sci-fi horror films, and had the potential to be a really, really, really smart sci-fi film. I just think it's not awful. It's just it's nowhere near as good as I anticipated it to be when I saw the trailers.
No. And it was hyped to be a really big thing, and it wasn't as big as the hype it generated.
No.
So I think that's all we can really say about it. And
so maybe a sequel would tie into Alien, and then that'd be interesting though, because then you'd have the two films back to back, and you could kind of merge them into one film. Would you like it a bit more?
Maybe.
I think I would, but as a film on its own, it doesn't hold up.
No,
if you like Sci-Fi or the Alien franchise, you're gonna see it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just a bit underwhelming.
Yeah. Very. I agree with that. It's underwhelming.
You're just a bit more lenient towards some of the character aspects than
and some of the ideas as well. And even though they didn't work, I can still applaud it for trying.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that's all I can really say about it.
Yeah, we've talked for almost the length of the actual movie.
Yeah. About the movie.
This is going to be in many parts.
Probably would be. So yeah, that is our review of Prometheus, and well, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll maybe see you again, or have you look at our channel again sometime in the future when we've got more stuff up.
Yep.
So, thanks guys.
Thank you.